Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is John with Addie and Stan. Back for another episode of Beer Talks. Today, we'll be talking about more about ourselves, just so we can kind of create that rapport between each other. We'll be talking about our professional life, mostly, which we'll get into shortly. But first, why don't my lovely friends say hi? Addie?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Beer Talks.
Stanley?
Hey everyone, it's good to be back.
Sweet. So today's beer of the day is called Imperial from, where's this from?
Costa Rica.
La Cerveza de Costa Rica. So this one's an imported one, obviously. And we're gonna try it for the first time.
Nice.
Are you guys pouring this time or?
Oh shoot, no, damn it.
Oh no, I forgot.
It's fine. I'll be the guy that pours.
Alright.
I'll just
Also-
drink like a savage.
Yeah, me too. I also don't have like a pour glass at home. Hold on.
What do you mean a pour glass?
I have I literally all the cups I have at home are mugs. Like coffee mugs, this is all I have.
That is
I have
weird.
that Walmart Coca-Cola McDonald's one. Maybe I should use that one. But it's tinted, so you won't see it.
See, it's the perfect size cup for
Oh,
Ken.
that is true.
Alright guys, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Again, I'm not a beer drinker. It's not terrible.
Does that mean you don't like it?
I mean, in its defense, I'm not a beer drinker. This tastes light, and it tastes like beer. Save me, guys.
Well, first it looks like a darker Corona, from what I could see.
That's fair.
The first sip is very sharp,
Hoppy.
hoppy. Yeah, it really makes a line down your throat.
Yeah.
I mean,
It does kind of have like a fruity flavor to it.
I don't mind it personally. It's not like it's very Mexican, Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I remember when we went to where did we go? To this one resort, and they served like Spanish beer, and it was like this. It was like super light. It's like citrusy, like it's very crisp as well.
I
What do you
feel
think?
like it tastes like I don't know what beer it tastes like. I feel like I've had this before. Like I definitely haven't had Imperial before.
Mhm.
But as I drink it, I'm like, I've had this beer before. I don't know what it is. I think it's just like I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but like the hoppiness of it
Mhm.
is like a very distinct trait, at least in my mouth, for it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when I first had it, it almost there's a familiarity to it. Like it feels like I've had this before too, but I just can't place my finger on it.
Maybe that's when you said like it tastes like beer.
Mhm.
I think this is like the generic taste profile that people associate with beer.
I think that's true. So I very quickly looked it up, just Googled it. So apparently this is the #1 selling beer in Costa Rica, and it is considered the beer of Costa Rica.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
wow. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not bad at all. I actually will I buy this over Corona? I don't know. I mean,
I would buy this over Corona.
you would?
I
Ooh.
would.
Yeah, Corona with lime. It's pretty hard to beat.
I wonder if it'll make a difference if you like throw a slice of lime or lime juice into this. Would it
feel
make
like-
you feel like Corona?
I feel like because this is a Costa Rica beer, it would. I think the intent is to have some sort of acidity with it. I feel like.
Mm.
Right. There's definitely acid to it.
Mhm.
But I believe that's just because of like more of the tropical kind of areas, right? They don't really want like heavy dark beers,
Yeah.
or like
Mhm.
they just want lighter stuff. And I also think that depending on the what kind of foods you eat while you're drinking also kind of influence the flavor profile of
Mhm.
the beer that you have. But yeah, I like it though. I mean, all the way from Costa Rica, so that I appreciate the miles that it traveled to get to
I
us
agree.
to
Yeah.
to get more.
Yeah.
Just for the record, by the way, we are not sponsored by any or all of the beers that we were about to partake in.
But
But
if Imperial's listening,
absolutely, we would be
Yes.
more than happy to.
yes, we're more than happy to have more of your beer. We're more than happy to have it on multiple episodes. Please send us beer and sponsor our episodes.
That's right. Well, it would be a blessing and an opportunity.
Yes.
And as Addie would probably mention later on as well, if anybody else out there who has their own preferences and have found a special kind of relationship with their beer, wow, a special kind. Please let us know. Hit us up, and we'll definitely look into it.
And yeah, definitely. If there's any local craft breweries, any beer brand representatives listening, hit us up. Even if, you're not sure if we'll like it, we are brave people, and I'm sure we're happy to give our non-professional connoisseur notes.
Right. Man, I just woke up maybe like 3 hours ago, and this is really
Best way to start the day, man.
right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Right. That's what it is.
It's funny because today I woke up early for like a weekend time. I woke up at 10, and I know it's not that early, but then it's like really early for me, especially on the weekend. And I don't know, I like cleaned up the kitchen and then I had nothing to do. So guess what I did, guys? I did my nails.
Oh, I was like, had another beer? Okay.
If I was a smarter podcaster, I would have totally, went into that and be like, oh yeah, I had another beer. But I didn't think this through. I was just being honest. I did my nails. So for listeners that don't know, last week when we recorded our episode 0, I for some reason, I know this is a podcast and it's audio only, but I did my nails because I felt like I needed to feel pretty to be on a podcast. And then coincidentally, not planned, I did the same thing today for no
Yeah.
reason.
Looking good translates to feeling good, and feeling good,
Feeling gorgeous.
feeling gorgeous makes you sound beautiful, right? It's just a chain of events.
That is true.
But yeah, going on to our major topic of the day, all about careers and career
Mhm.
choices and work-related stuff. Hopefully, some people can relate. So yeah, let's get into it. Addie, you mentioned last episode that you are in fact a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So just get into it, I guess.
Yeah, totally. I think, one thing I do want to tell the listeners, like, this episode idea did come from me, and I wanted to kind of tell the story of why I think it even matters. Like, why are you even interested in our careers and our journeys or whatever you want to call it? So, a few years back, a youngster friend of mine, she's doing her undergrad and then she wasn't sure she wanted to do, I don't know, like early childhood education, go into teaching, or completely pivot into something unrelated, right? So, I like to take on the big sister role, so I happened to be chatting with her about this, and then I told her my life story, like, what I did in school, what kind of jobs I held before I became a lawyer, and she's like, she basically told me like, oh, you have a very interesting journey that's like, not the traditional way that people would think how someone becomes a lawyer. And she's like, oh, it's very inspirational to know that like you can dabble and try different things before you really get into it. And that kind of made me think like, oh, like for me, I was just living my life and making choices as I go. I was winging it. But apparently some people might actually relate to it. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is something that we could share with our podcast listeners. So that's kind
Right.
of where I got the idea.
Right.
So my background, like I mentioned last episode, I did hospitality and tourism. I was a high achiever, like I held myself to very high standards when I was doing undergrad. So in my fourth year, like maybe midway through, my professors were like, oh, do you have your career planned out? Do you know what you want to do? Literally, I was like, oh crap, I didn't think about it. I don't know what I want to do when I graduate. So there was like a mild level of panic.
Mhm.
And because I don't know, as you do hospitality and tourism, one of the things that we learn is working in the food industry kind of sucks. Like it's really hard to climb the ladder. And if I want to break into some big food group, right? Like the guys that manage all the Cara Group restaurants, for example,
Right.
a
Right.
lot of times they get you to start, quote unquote, from the bottom. So you got to be a server, you got to be a bartender, and then work your way up to assistant manager, supervisor, and then work your way up to manager.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to like graduate university and go back to being a server. So I was like, okay, not gonna go into the food industry. And then there's hotels, right? But
Right.
then everyone I talked to that was in hotels, they're like, oh, when you go into hotel management, you got to do all the graveyard shifts. Like if you're gonna work
That's
front
right.
desks, you're gonna work from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I'm like,
That's right.
man, I'm already like I'm already lacking in my natural beauty. I would like my beauty sleep, so I don't want to do that either. And one thing I knew I was really good at was I was a really good student. So I'm like, let's figure out what other schooling can I do. So then I decided to take the LSAT because I'm sure every kid that ended up being a lawyer at some point, someone in their family probably told them, um, oh, you're really good at arguing. Maybe you should consider being a lawyer. So I was apparently um, told that growing up, and they're like, oh, you like to be argumentative. Um, Maybe you should consider being a lawyer. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take the LSAT. I took the LSAT twice. Um,
Sorry to interrupt. What is an LSAT?
LSAT is basically the test that you take to kind of like score your logic slash problem solving ability, to see if you kind of have the aptitude to go into law school, become a
Oh,
lawyer.
is this like
Um,
a universal testing that like anybody could take? It's like recognized by like organizations and stuff?
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. But not all countries necessarily require it for law school.
Mhm.
North American, US, Canada schools use it, but I'm trying to think. I think I considered going to Hong Kong for law school, and I don't think they care about the LSAT. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm pretty sure they don't care.
Don't quote
Uh,
you on that.
yeah, don't quote me on this.
Right.
I could be completely wrong. Um, but yeah, so that's why I took the LSAT. But the thing is, so in my final year of undergrad, I had took the LSAT, applied for law school, and lo and behold, I did not get in. So I actually had to figure out something to do. And I ended up working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the rental company, as a management trainee.
No way you
Yeah.
did, eh?
I know, it's so random. Like hospitality tourism, wanted to
Yeah,
go
that's
law school, ended up at a rental company.
that is pretty
um,
outside, yeah.
yeah, it's so random. But I got to drive a lot of cars, which was really fun. I learned a lot about cars.
What
Um,
did you do there? Did you like manage like rental services or?
Okay, great question because I thought that's what it would be like. And in all fairness, they have a great program. They have mentors for you. They have monthly checkups. All the divisional like managers that I worked with, wonderful, wonderful people. But I hate to say this, but it was kind of like a glorified, uh, like car rental salesman. So we were kind of ranked based on how much we can upsell a rental.
Yeah.
So
Like,
like,
if do you want to buy insurance and like,
yeah.
here's
Do
a
you want to
GPS add-on.
Yeah, like, do you want to buy, want to pay off the gas? Oh, I see you rented an economy size. You know, a full size is a lot more comfortable. So it's
Right.
all about the upsells. And like, my personality is I'm terrible at that stuff because I feel like
It's a sales job, yeah?
exactly. It's a
Mm.
sales job, and I am terrible with sales. Like, I'm looking back at all my jobs growing up. I was an abacus teacher during high school and the first little while at university. I was then a server. I was, a tour guide. I was, yeah, and nothing related to sales. It was all very like, here's what it is. I'm going to tell you like it is. So, like, I was awful at sales. So, I did not really, really enjoy that. Um, and then eventually, what happened was I wanted a change of scenery, and law school was kind of at the back of my mind at that point. And then I saw a posting by Air Canada, and I decided to apply to be a flight attendant. And somehow I got in. My winning personality was actually appreciated.
I mean, you have tourism and hospitality in your background, so I
Mhm.
imagine that would have counted for something, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would hope so.
I would think
Um,
so.
yeah, so at that point, it's funny, I actually applied for Cathay Pacific and Air Canada. Cathay Pacific found me a little too opinionated.
Was that their like feedback to you? They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't get accepted into this program because of your opinions."
Well, no, I think it's completely my fault because with Cathay Pacific, it was my very first time doing a group interview. Until that point in my life, I'd never done a group interview before. And in the group interview, they essentially gave you a problem and was like, "Hey, how are you going to solve it?" And then I was like a little too over enthusiastic, and I basically took over the room. And I'm like, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this and that, and we're going to tell the customer this, blah, blah, blah." And basically, no one had a chance to speak.
Classic. Classic
Checks
Addie,
out.
basically.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
brand, literally what I normally do
Mhm.
anyways. So it was after the group interview, I never got called back. So I figured it must have been that. Like, it had to be. Like, that was the one thing I failed. So when Air Canada came around, I did the opposite because I'm like, I know that's how I'm gonna be. I need to not be that. So in the group interview at Air Canada, even though I distinctly remember someone saying something really stupid. They made a really stupid suggestion, and I literally had to bite my tongue, and I'm like, I see you have a point there. I think that's a great direction, but why don't we try this instead?
Mhm.
And I came off a lot more likable, and I think the interviewers liked that kind of personality better.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, and then that's how I got into Air Canada. And I'm not gonna lie, even throughout the interviews, throughout training, there were many a times that I would say things under my breath and bite my tongue because I'm like, this is not what they want to know. They can't know about this. It's like the crazy girlfriend where the first 6 months she hides her crazy under the carpet.
Of course.
Like that's literally what I did at Air Canada for the first 6 months. I'm like, I'm just gonna hide my crazy under the carpet. I'm not gonna let anyone know how I really feel. I'm gonna be that nice, bubbly person that they want.
Are you not required to be? I mean, I know being like bilingual helps a
Hmm.
lot in terms of, you know,
Yeah.
doing anything internationally, really.
Hmm.
But doesn't Air Canada require for you to be like at least knowledgeable when it comes to French?
No. As long as you have a second language of their like list of languages, which covers pretty much everything, as
Right.
long as you have a second language, you're good to go. It doesn't have to be French.
Ah,
Yeah. And I've had colleagues obviously that are French speaking as well.
right.
They like after we've done training, we've graduated, we're like on the line and we're flying, and they tell us like having French is actually not the best. Because what happens is on Air Canada flights, they have to have at least one French speaker. Like they
Right.
have to. Yeah, because it's the Canadian airline. We are a bilingual country. Our airline has to be bilingual. So what happens is, say I'm a French speaker. I have this wonderful flight to Hong Kong, but the Montreal turn down the street, needs a French speaker.
Oh,
I
you might get pulled.
Exactly. I might get pulled off of my wonderful, beautiful Hong Kong layover and put into this Montreal flight.
Oh.
Yeah, so that apparently happened a lot to some of my classmates. So they're like, man, I wish I didn't know French.
Dang. Couldn't you
Hmm
just pretend to not know French?
Oh,
I mean,
another.
I guess, but like you wouldn't have known about this like,
True.
French like turn situation until you're
Right, right.
there, right? Until you're like, hey, I
Mhm.
already given you the best of what I have, right? And then they're like,
Right,
oh
right.
shoot, I unlearned French.
Right. Somebody just, bonjour, and you're like, hola. And then,
Yeah, see, ni hao.
ni hao, yeah. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the funny thing is, whatever languages you're hired for, it essentially becomes your job requirement. So what that
Wow.
means is like, so I was hired for Cantonese and French. Sorry, not French, Cantonese and Mandarin. Um, I'm not allowed to lose my Cantonese or my Mandarin.
Oh,
Yeah, because I was hired for those languages.
What do you mean lose? Like, how are you
Yeah.
gonna drop it somewhere? What do you mean lose?
Okay, so let me explain. So we do get tested for our languages. It's a 4-level test. So other than English, you have to be proficient. Like you don't get tested for that. You just have to be proficient. For my Cantonese and Mandarin, you get tested every 2 years. If you get a level 4, which is the highest level, you never get tested again.
wow.
Basically, it's treated as you're proficient, you're a native speaker, you're good to go.
Right, right.
So my Cantonese, I got level 4 like pretty much on my first tests. Never had to test for that again. But my Mandarin, I only got a level 3, which means after I get that, I get tested again 2 years later, and I have to get at least a level 3. If you get a level 2, it means you failed and I think you have like a certain amount of time to kind of brush up on your skills, and then you have to do the
Right.
test again.
Mhm.
So if you fail a language that you are hired for, technically they can kind of let you go.
Right.
Wow.
Hmm
Is it
Yeah.
really that detrimental? I mean, I would think that it's not that detrimental since
hmm
I don't know. It might be a little presumptuous to assume that everybody just understands English. Obviously, not the case.
hmm
Um, there are travelers out there who really just don't even speak or understand English at all. I'm
Yeah.
thinking more on like lines of like senior flyers and stuff
Yeah.
who travel on their own, who right expect to you know don't really. I mean, would they even be able to read? Because I remember my grandmother when she traveled by herself, right? She from the Philippines, and she just flew, and there was just always a Filipino person with her translating because she didn't even. I mean, I knew she knows how to read, but like the English terms are like, in Canada in the airports with the accent aigus and stuff, and it's just weird for her to see. So I'm assuming that's the same case why it's detrimental to
I
to yeah.
I'd assume that like at least from a processing and like a requirements perspective, right? Because Air Canada travels to so many international destinations, you're expected to have some travelers with like very like it's not even like, oh, I know how to speak English, but I expect to be able to communicate in my language. No, it's like some people I think they just like don't have that skill. And because there's so many like what is it called? Not tariffs, customs requirements,
hmm
Mm,
right? Like to enter a country and like to fill out forms and stuff. I think you just have to have at least one person on the flight that speaks, at least the language that they're expected to fly to, right, and be able to translate. Because otherwise, I can just totally see a lot of things not going so well. If,
right.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like every flight has to have at least one language speaker in case of those cases where someone doesn't speak English and you need to help them out. Yeah, so that's why it was so important. And I mean, from a corporate perspective, right? That's kind of why they have to hold you to your language requirements because they need to project and estimate and basically manage the labor force to make sure that they can cover all those flights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just on a last note about that, when it comes to like literacy as well, though, like I'm assuming a level 4 would be, somebody who could read and write. right? And like, what's the difference between like a level 3 and a 4 and like a 2 and a 3? You know, like, does a
Mhm.
2 just know simple phrases like "where's the washroom" kind of stuff, or like, beef or chicken, like, like, how do they differ?
Yeah, funny thing, they actually don't test our reading skills. They only tested our speaking skills. So I actually know flight attendants who can speak Cantonese or Mandarin very well, but they can't read it.
Read
Yeah.
or write,
So
then, right? That would
or
be the
write.
case there. Yeah.
Exactly. So in our announcement books, you get an announcement book for every language that you could speak.
Hmm.
So my Chinese book, it had like the actual Chinese announcement, but then the page next to it would have like the pinyin of it.
The Roman
Mm.
pronunciation.
Mm.
Exactly. For those who can speak it but can't read it. It's
Um,
very interesting because like my boyfriend who also worked at the airline,
mhm.
um, it's funny because he is Cantonese. He actually went to school when he was a kid in Hong Kong. But when we did our Cantonese test, I got a level 4 and he only got a level 3. Hee.
He's fake news.
I know, right? Again, born and raised Canadian,
I think
total
he just.
CBC,
I think he's
but
just trying to impress you. He's like, ni hao bao bei wo ai ni. Sorry, that's Mandarin, but you know,
but yeah, down the same line.
right. In any case, yeah. Moving on. So you were
Mhm.
in this career for how long?
Ooh, like 3.5 years, almost 4 years. Um,
Dang.
and actually, while I was a flight attendant, actually, before when I applied to Air Canada, it was around the same time that I made my second attempt to apply to law school. So I got into Air Canada first. And during training, about, I would say like a week before training ended at Air Canada, I received notice that I got into law school. So it was like, at that moment, I was like, oh man, I just spent 2 months training to be a flight attendant. I
Mhm.
don't really want to give it up.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, I really want to go to law school. So I didn't know what to do for the longest time. And basically, I talked it over with my parents, and I'm like, I know this sounds insane, but I'm going to see if I can do both. Anyone that's listening, law school is notorious for being tough. Like, forget being a flight attendant, holding any kind of job while you're at law school is I would say commendable. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I somehow was confident enough that I could. And I
Mhm.
basically was like, okay, I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work out, then I'll just quit my job. Like, I'm not going to give up law school.
Mhm.
Like, to me, at the time, I was like, oh, there's a brighter future there.
It was the top of your priority, right?
Exactly. And, being Asian, I was like hitting all the Asian goals. Like, yeah, be a lawyer. Yeah, that's totally what you want to do.
Wait, so you lasted 4 years on with Air Canada as an FA, and you were
Mhm.
studying at the same time during those
Yes.
4 years?
Oh yeah, it was great. The one thing I liked about that was I had zero presence in law school. So when all my friends were, getting to know each other, making friends,
Right,
getting to
right.
know other classmates, no one knew I existed for the longest time. I still remember at graduation. No, it wasn't graduation. When I had to take my bar after I graduated law school, um, me and my really good friend from law school, we were taking the bar together, and during the break, we were having lunch together. And one of our classmates walked by, and she's like, "Oh, hey, whoever, right? Let's say his name is John. Hey, John, how are you?" And then he's like, "Oh, hey, who's this friend of yours?" And I'm like, "I was in your program.
For
We
four
graduated."
years.
Yeah, I
You're
was
one of
like,
those estranged students. Right, right. Yeah.
exactly. He did not remember I even was in his classes. So I completely flew under the radar. So I had no law school drama, like in Suits where everyone sleeps with everyone. Yeah, none of that happened to me at least, or like I didn't hear about those gossips. Yeah, I totally flew under the radar. And basically what I did was, um, I think other than the first year, because the first year, as per any, schooling, you don't get to choose your schedule. So I had
Right.
classes Monday to Friday. So what I would do is on Fridays after my last class, I would either take the bus or ask a classmate to drop me off at the airport. Oh, right. So I went to Windsor Law and I did the dual program. So I have a degree in Canadian law as well as US law. So I did the dual program between Windsor Law and Detroit Mercy. So I would have to cross the border to go to Detroit like every week, like
Dang.
a few days a week. Yeah. So because I was in Windsor and at Air Canada, I was based out of Toronto, I had to get to Toronto to do my flights. So after class, like in the afternoon, whatever, someone will either drive me or I'll bus or I'll take the taxi. And then I'll take a flight from Windsor to Toronto, which is about an hour. And then I would fly and I'd be gone the whole weekend. I could be in Vancouver, Calgary, I could be in Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, whatever it is, right? And I'll either come back Sunday night or the craziest I've done is I came back Monday morning at like first flight in, like 6, 7 a.m. And then I'll either take a flight or a bus or a train back into Windsor
Then
for
book it
class.
straight to class.
Exactly.
Oh my god. If that was happening today, you'd be full of the Rona.
I know.
And
But
you
yeah.
you did this for 4 years.
Well, law school is just 3, but still for 3 years. That's what I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It sounds more impressive than it was.
Okay, dude. I
No,
mean,
no, it's true though, because like in law school you get ranked, or you kind of know your ranking. I did not graduate top of my class. I would say I was between the top half to the top quarter, so like in between there, somewhere in between there. So
wait, you're a B student?
yeah, I was a B student.
Oh
I
my
was.
god.
Do you know how heartbroken I was? One of my biggest flex as an Asian was I graduated undergrad without anything lower than a B plus. That was my
Right.
biggest flex.
That's an Asian fail.
I had one course that was a B plus. Everything else was A minus or above, basically.
Mhm.
But then
I mean,
and then you go to law school, and I'm like, I'm just glad I passed the class.
blame it on the time zones, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were only getting to, and then here you are now. You
Yeah, and
finished.
then here I am.
You finished your law school.
Mhm.
I'm assuming you quit soon after Air Canada.
So after law school, after you graduate, you have to do what's called articling. So in my era, you had to do 10 months of articling.
Back in your days,
So yeah,
right?
back in my days. So even to take a step back. So in law school, there's something called OCI, so on-campus interviews, where students will interview for summer positions. And most students really want to get summer positions because typically wherever you summer, they will probably hire you back on for articling. So you don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff when you
Sorry,
graduate.
who's interviewing them? Who are they interviewing?
The law firms will go to school campuses to interview students.
I see.
So I was still a flight attendant at the time. I didn't need a summer job, and because I was still flying, I didn't care to work at a law firm. I mean, I've been told both things. Some people are like, yeah, it's nice to have a break, and then some other people are like, ooh, you had a missed opportunity there. You could have had a really great summer job with a law firm. But in any event, I was one of those students that didn't even bother with OCIs. I had classmates that were stressing about it. You had to put in applications, you had to prepare for the interview. I didn't even bother with it. I was like, I have a summer job. I have a
Right.
job now. So I never did OCIs. So that's already kind of like I didn't do something that was very traditional in my career path.
Mhm.
And then when I graduated and articling came around, there is about a 2-month period where it's the articling week, basically, where all the firms and companies would interview for articling students. And you would know basically before the winter of your first term, or even like the beginning of your second term, you would know whether or not you got an articling position.
Mhm.
So I did go through that because you have to article for 10 months before you can get licensed. So I did go through that, but I did not land any positions. I got to a lot of second round and third round interviews, but I just never was able to land any of it. And literally, I still remember the day. during that time, there is one day where it's like the last day of like the articling week, for example. By 5 p.m., if you got the position, the firm or the company will call you and let you know.
So dramatic.
So dramatic. Everyone was on their phones waiting for 5 p.m. to roll around. I'm like texting some of the classmates I have, and I'm like, yo, did you get a call yet? Did you get a call yet? And we're all like, no, not yet, not yet. And I distinctly remember looking at the clock and it goes 5:01. My phone did not ring. 5:02. My phone did not ring.
Meanwhile, everyone around you is like, whoa, God, my
Everybody's throwing their,
Exactly.
their graduate hats, you
Yeah,
know,
they're
their
throwing the phones in
togas.
the air.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah,
throwing it in the air.
exactly. I started crying. I'm not gonna lie, I started crying. I'm like,
I mean,
I
yeah.
started spiraling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna get an articling position. I'm never gonna graduate. Like, I'm not gonna be a lawyer because like I can't article. If I don't article, I'm not gonna be a lawyer. And so that like really hit me. And then I remember after that, actually, I think it was the summer before your final year started, you would find out. And then I remember like starting school, and then people were like, oh, where are you going to article? Where are you going to article? I'm like, I don't have a position yet. I don't have it's like shamefully admitting
Right,
that
right.
I was not chosen.
Mhm.
And then I started writing just letters to different law firms that I did not see on the articling list. And I'd be like, essentially like, hey, are you interested in having an articling student? I can be full-time or part-time, whatever you can give me. And like, I got to a point where I was fairly desperate. I was almost gonna be like, I'll do it for free. Just take me, please.
Right. I was just about to ask, are these
Yeah.
like paying positions?
Mhm. So those who participated in the articling week are typically the higher paying employers.
Right.
So I didn't get any of those like 90, 100K articling positions.
Dang.
But luckily, Manulife happened to roll out their articling program very late because they hadn't had an articling student for 20 years. But they're like, hey,
Wow.
yeah, they're like, this year, I think we want to take someone on. And I happened to interview. And so, funny thing about all my interviews, just to backtrack a little bit, I had actually a lot of firm partners actually point blank tell me, oh, I noticed that you were a flight attendant during your law school time. Do you think that if you actually wasn't a flight attendant and you focused on school, you would actually do better? I was like, probably. I mean, if I didn't have a job, if I wasn't flying across the world, I'd probably have more time to study and I'd probably do well. But I think, you know, working built character, and also law school is very expensive. So I needed to pay my expenses. So I did what I had to do.
Sorry, what was the point of that question? Are they just
Yeah,
trying to gauge how committed you are to the profession, or
maybe.
because I
And
mean you have
then,
responsibilities too, and yeah,
mhm,
school doesn't come cheap, and you know,
mm-mm,
it's like, what are you trying to say? Like, yeah,
yeah.
of course, if I had more time to focus on one thing, yeah, then I'd be better at it. Hello, like, what?
Mhm.
Like, what am I
Anyway,
gonna say? No, like
right?
even with all
Yeah,
this extra time, I'm just gonna be the same level of student that I am
exactly.
because
Yeah, you know,
what?
such a
Yeah.
open-ended. Anyway, yeah. Sorry.
It honestly felt like they didn't appreciate the fact that I didn't focus just in school, because most, in fairness, a lot of students did, right? they
Well,
just
yeah,
they just did really well in school. I
I
think.
think that those employers, they would assume that, this person isn't that dedicated to the game, and
Mhm,
if she has time to, you know do another job, then maybe she's not as focused. And do we really want
mhm,
somebody who could be distracted, that easily? Though, how doesn't matter how untrue that statement is, right? Like,
exactly. And I had weird questions too, because I live with my parents at the time, and my address is in Scarborough. And
right.
I had been asked questions like, "Oh, I noticed your address is in Scarborough. Like, did you grow up there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, so you have no connections to like other parts of the city?" And I'm like, I was kind of like, I don't understand where this question is going.
Are they allowed to ask those questions?
Technically, no. Like,
They're lawyers.
I know, right?
yeah. Oh my gosh, lawyers. Honestly, knowing that.
They're interviewing lost like because the thing like we can't ask questions like like to a female employee like are you planning to have like we can't ask
Happily, yeah,
those
that's right.
questions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why can they ask Did you grow up in Scarborough?
No.
What?
Are you
Yeah,
are you currently seeing somebody right now? Because it might affect the scheduling.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
And I was talking to my classmates about that, and I think what they were insinuating is like, you grew up poor, you're not gonna have any clients to bring into the firm. So
Wow.
it's essentially what they're insinuating. And funny enough, after a little while, like a couple months, where I was either getting weird interviews or no interviews, I switched and used my boyfriend's address, who was in North York, and I got way more interviews after that.
I remember you telling us about that too. I remember you're like, hey, I switched my address, and all of a sudden I have like 3 interviews lined up next week. And in my
Mhm.
head, I was like, this can't be real. But then I'm
Wow.
like, oh my god, like it's actually happening. Because I remember, because we were friends back then, and then I remember hanging out, and you're like, I can't get interviews, or interviews are going badly, and all of a sudden you just have interviews lined up.
Yeah,
Location,
it was
location,
really
huh?
crazy. Yeah, I can't believe like just an address changed the game for me, and I got interviews, and the interviews were also less weird after that. So yeah, I can tell you a very funny question I got at one of the interviews. Um, I was at like the last round, where I'm seeing like the VPs and whatnot. I thought I gave a great answer, but get this, one of the guys goes, "Okay, my last question for you is if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?"
Oak tree.
Why? Why oak tree?
Because he's the very first professor in Pokemon, and therefore has a very deep-seated root into my childhood and me growing up. I looked up to him.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you and I had a very similar answer. You know what I said? I said I would be Groot. And then the
Wow.
three of them just blanked out and didn't understand. And he was like, oh, okay. Can you explain it? I'm like, you see, in Guardians of the Galaxy,
You
Groot.
see, let me educate you now. Class is now in session.
I am
Hmm.
Groot, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I am Groot. And I explain, in Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot is this character. He's very loyal. He's a very loyal friend to the team, and he'll do whatever it takes to be a team player. And although it doesn't show in the movies, in the comics, Groot is actually a highly intelligent creature. It's just his speech. Something happened, he can't speak properly, so all he can say is, I am Groot. So I'm essentially saying, like, hey guys, I'm a team player and I'm very intelligent. But unfortunately, they were not nerds and they didn't
Uh,
understand.
they didn't
So
like the pop culture reference. Got
no,
it.
they did
Yeah.
not. So I didn't get that job.
Sucks on them.
Yeah, yeah. So, but on the flip end, the articling position I did get with Manulife, um, one of my articling principals, because they had a team of 5 principals. One of the principals, who I to this day still call Sifu,
Was a nerd.
he was a nerd,
There
and
it
he
is.
was, and in the
He was a
interview,
nerd.
and I can tell you, I almost knew that I hit it off with them the moment the like midway through the interview, because while I had all these other weird questions like, maybe you shouldn't have worked during law school, blah 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 blah. What they did was they actually looked at my resume and they're like, "We are impressed that you worked through law school. You were a flight attendant. Like, this tells us so much about you. It means you're organized, you have time management." They actually loved the fact that I worked during law school
Mhm.
versus some of the other people who were like, this isn't a great thing to have. So
But I
I
mean,
already
to be fair, they haven't done this in the past 20 years, like you said. So
also true.
who the heck knows what they're talking about?
They could have been impressed with anything at that point. They're like,
Right.
this
Not
is great. And then
right.
at the end of the interview, my Sifu was like, all right, I just have one last question for you. Who is your favorite comic book superhero?
No.
I'm not even kidding you.
Woot.
Yeah. Did you say I am Groot?
No, I was like, okay. I was like, Marvel or DC? I can give you a Marvel one and I can give you a DC one.
Wow. You gave
And
him.
yeah, I gave him both. I'm like, if it's Marvel, currently I'm very, Captain America. But then, if it's DC, my all-time favorite, it has to be Batman. These are the reasons, and I laid it out for him.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Batman fan.
I know. I'm so predictable.
Basic.
But fun fact, I think the reason why he brought it up was because I don't know if at some point I gave up or I was just like, my resume is really boring. I need to put something interesting there. In in the very bottom where there's like, oh, your interests and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
I put myself, what was it called? I was like I was a comic universe analyst.
Wow.
I put that as one of my passions. So that might have tipped him off that I like comic books.
Also, you could also take that as like you like comedians. Like what? Like you like stand-ups? Like what?
True.
Do you analyze like these jokes? You know?
Oh man, yeah. So that's how I got my articling position. And thank God it went really well. After articling, passed my bar exams, got licensed, and now I'm a lawyer.
Listen, this is what I call in the world like the universe, like the stars aligned for you.
True.
Because honestly, like just throughout your entire process, at least from a recruiting perspective, right? Like I've hired many people in my career, and I always tell folks like don't put things like your interest in your resume or like
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Shoot,
yeah,
let me edit my resume.
for real. Because okay, here, listen, just really quick tidbit, right? Like I as a hiring manager, if I'm recruiting, I'm going, especially if I'm working for a very popular firm, like I'm handed like hundreds of resumes at a time, and these
Right.
are already filtered by HR. This is what HR gives me to be like, these are the people that we think have the right skill sets for you, and
Okay.
then they hand me stacks of like 20s, 50s, hundreds at a time.
Right.
And I'm literally going, okay, cool. Like I look at the first page, I scan through it. If you're gonna be like wasting like your 5 second of real estate for me to read your interest and know your actual skills, I'm gonna be like, okay, no thanks. You know what I mean?
Wait, you don't want to know if I'm either a comic book nerd or a stand-up comedy nerd?
Listen,
Like,
if I think Addie did something very smart, which is you put yourself as a comic universe analyst, which I think prompts questions. And this is also probably because you don't have sufficient experience to fill up your one page.
right,
Right?
exactly. Yeah. You need
But
fluff, right? Fluff.
right, but in those cases, I would recommend for someone in Addie's position at the time to be like, hey, look at some of your law school courses, right? Like if you've done like mock trials, if you've done like specific courses with specific projects and deliverables, put those in, because those will much better tell me if you're suited for the job or not. To not even get to
Wow.
me, but get through
Right.
HR. I keep telling people the job of a resume is not to get you a job. The job of a resume is to get you an interview.
Right, to get the attention, right?
Right. And then so I was like, oh my God. And so in my head, I was like, man, stars aligned for you.
Oh man, I gotta talk to you more about that stuff, then, eh?
Yeah. No,
No,
like talk to me anytime.
I don't even want. And I'm scared to show you my CV now because, like, oh my god,
No, don't be. I've seen.
it's all just comic book related references.
Let me quickly grill you on your DC Universe knowledge.
It's all just like list of like, if you were a Pokemon, what would you be? And I'd be like, listen,
Slowpoke.
or I would. Whoa, Slowpoke.
Me.
That's kind. Oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
say I'm more of a Snorlax, but
Yeah, sure. Either. It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's,
But anyway,
that's
like,
amazing.
good for you, Addie. Like that, I think that is definitely like the universe speaking to you, and I think you're destined to be on the path that you're on.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Honestly, looking back, I got lucky. I'm not even gonna lie. I totally got lucky. I do not recommend anyone to follow that. I don't think it'll work today.
I don't
quite
think you
honestly.
got lucky, man. Because
No,
like,
you definitely worked hard. Like if
yeah,
you,
exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a stroke of luck that just like, oh, somebody just picked me up. No way. Like you were writing mails to people,
Yeah.
right? And you
You
were
were
getting
proactive.
to the point to like, listen, I'll do it for free. Oh, almost.
Almost, yeah.
Like things were getting desperate, and
Mhm.
as long as you keep trying, right? Like swing enough times, you'll hit the ball once, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
That's true.
if you weren't trying, the stars wouldn't have aligned.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You don't
That is
just
very true.
you don't just open your mouth and just hope for food to just come in. Like nobody's gonna mama bird you.
Fair,
Like
fair.
it's just
It's crazy though, because then I think 2 years later, a friend of mine, she was interviewing articling students for her company, and she was looking at resumes, and she was telling us like, man, law students now have so much more competition. She's looking at resumes where it's like, man, if I was competing with this person, I would not get an interview. They are
right.
not just participating in, they are winning mock trials. They are taking extra courses. They have summered at some of the best firms around
Yeah.
town. And I'm just like, man, I would not even like come close to these people. I wouldn't even get past the computer at this point. Like the computer would just knock out my resume. So I think I did all the right things for my time. Um, but nowadays, yeah, honestly, anyone applying for any jobs, like probably don't put comic book analysts.
To be fair though, I mean with the COVID restrictions that we have, right? I feel like a lot of people have a lot more free time with themselves and putting I mean, that's obviously not fair to say for everybody, but I would assume especially when it comes to like student life, you know, it's a lot easier to put your energy somewhere else. By the way, listening to myself talk about this sounds so hypocrite. Anyway,
But
right, so
yeah.
then you got hired at Manulife, you
hmm
said, and then but now you have your own firm.
Yeah, that was also a crazy journey because after articling, ac after actually becoming a fully licensed lawyer, I didn't stay with Manulife, and one of the reasons is in my field, if you stay like in-house is kind of considered the end game. Like when you want to build a family, you want a steady job, that's where you want to head towards. But I'm just this new lawyer starting out. I don't want to just stay in endgame forever. Like I'm going to get bored of myself. So I wanted to challenge myself a little bit and I wanted to go into litigation. Honestly, I don't like litigation. Although everyone told me I like to be argumentative and whatnot, I like reasonable discussions. I don't like arguing with people unreasonably. And I find that nowadays a lot of litigators kind of argue for the sake of arguing. So that's not what I wanted to do, but I knew that I needed to build litigation skills so then it helps me in all the other aspects of law.
Sorry to interrupt. I mean, for those who don't know, because obviously I myself personally really know what litigation is, right?
Yeah.
But for those who don't know what litigation means and what it entails, what is it like? Like without going too far, going too deep into it, like what is the big picture of like what is litigation?
Mhm. So it
Just for
would
the listeners, not for John.
No, absolutely. We've established that. That is the base of the song.
Yeah, of course. So litigation is what you traditionally think of lawyers going to court. If you've watched, anyone
Judge
going,
Judy.
yeah, like going arguing in front of a judge, putting on the robes, going to court, going to any human rights tribunal, labor tribunal, landlord
Screaming, I
tenant
object.
board. Yeah, exactly. Like those
So,
games.
mm,
That's pretty much litigation.
but isn't that just a lawyer job?
Well, no, there are what we call solicitors, or in other words, in layman terms, paper lawyers, who they do the contracts, they do the mergers, acquisitions, real estate, wills and estates. So
Right,
they
right.
don't
Different specializations, right? For different.
exactly.
I
And
see.
the reason why I wanted to get litigation skills is even if you don't go to court, learning those skills helps you in drafting your contracts, for example. When I draft a contract for someone, I'm thinking, what do I need to put in your lease to protect you from getting kicked out? If I'm working for a landlord, a commercial lease, I am not just drafting your commercial lease. I'm thinking, how do I protect you from losing money if your tenant doesn't pay rent?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, so I knew that litigation skills are very important, and the best years to build it is when you're new because you get away with things. I
Mm.
have stood in court, like in big kid court, so to speak, doing a motion. Yeah, big kid court, because like small claims is like the teenager, and then like landlord tenant board is just kangaroo court.
Like a sandbox versus like
Exactly.
yeah, okay. Jungle gym. All right,
Did you,
got
did
it.
you say kangaroo court?
Apparently,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, yes.
It's an Australian term.
Thanks. Like koala court, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So lovingly and jokingly, my friends sometimes say landlord-tenant board is where rules go to die. I'm sorry for those that are listening, but
Sorry for those landlords out there. Yeah, continue.
but yes. So when I was in big kid court in front of an appointed judge and I made a mistake in an argument, or when I didn't know what to say and I'm kind of like sweating there, I remember the judge going like, "Is this your first trial?" I'm like, "This is my first motion like ever as a real lawyer." And they're like, "Okay." And he breaks out the civil procedure book and he's like, "Let me explain to you the process."
Oh boy.
Like schooled me in court. But I appreciated it because I'm like, now I know what to do next time this happens.
Right.
Versus I've had like this really senior lawyer tell me when he made a mistake, the judge took his paper and threw it back at him, was like, "Go back and fix it."
Wow.
So as a newbie lawyer, you kind of have a little bit more leeway. And I also remember going to provincial court. So like a client of mine had gotten a fine because his license was not renewed in time and he continued his business, blah, blah, blah. When I met with the prosecutor, who basically is the one representing the government, suing my guy for not renewing his license,
Mhm.
she pulls me into, because we try to talk before court and be like, "Hey, can we reach a settlement so we save time making arguments in front of a judge or a justice of the peace?" And she's like, "All right." She's like, "Is this your first time in provincial court?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna make you look like a superstar. So your client is up for fines of $5,000 and a suspension. I'm gonna reduce that by half with no suspension." Just offered it right off the bat. And she's like, "I know you can make arguments for it anyway, so I might as well give it to you. You can go back to your client and look like a superstar and just say that you made an argument to the prosecutor and you won." And I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "Here, bye."
I'm sorry, is this lady just tired of her job?
Well, no, it's twofold.
I think settlements happen a lot, right? Like because
I
they don't want to
guess.
spend that like extra effort or time. I don't know what's the right thing to say here.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the twofolds is, one, she wants to save the court time, she wants to save her own time, and it costs money to have court open, right? So she's like, let's just save time. And the second fold is she's like, she can tell that I was nervous. And I had like my stack of like notes that I was gonna read. She's like, "I know what you're gonna say anyways. I might as well just give it to you."
I already read your notes. She said
Yeah.
she might as well just said that. Wow.
Yeah. So
Well, that was awfully nice of her, I think.
But again, that was because I was new. If I was like a 5-year lawyer, she'd be like, "Not getting this."
So looking back at that particular case, was her settlement a fair settlement? Because I don't know if she was trying to like con you out of,
True.
settling for less than what you could have gotten.
True.
Right? I don't know if you remember the details of that case, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I remember reading my notes, and honestly, she did give me exactly what I was gonna ask for.
Okay.
So
Oh.
yeah,
She,
because
she really did. She knows what she's doing. She's like, I see you. I've read your notes through you.
Maybe just to add more drama to the situation, she probably like, I saw myself in you. I was you then, And,
I
there was
distinctly.
there was a lady that did the same thing for me. Anyway, yeah,
That's
sorry, go on.
funny. No, but you're right. I think maybe she did because I distinctly remember her saying like, confirming that this is my first time there, and then her saying, "I'm gonna make you look like a superstar." And another thing.
Immediately to me, it's like, oh, this is a scam.
I know, right?
This is a
Lawyers can't be
scam.
lawyers can't be trusted. Are you out of your mind? What the heck?
Also, I think she took pity on me because she was also female and she was also Asian. Because my industry is notorious for old white men for the longest time. Female lawyers, female litigators, not very common. Asian and female, even less common. So she probably looked at me and was like, "We need to help each other, man. I need to make you look good."
The double minority combo, right?
Mhm.
True.
Yeah.
Well, little do you know that she actually just she needed more time to prep for a bigger kind of litigation case. And then she's like, this is 2,500. My next case would be like over 500 grand and $1 million, kind of difference.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Right. So then how long did you stay for with Manulife?
So Manulife, I did my 10 months articling. And then after that, I went to a boutique employment litigation firm. I was there for almost 2 years.
Mhm.
And I can tell you this, like when I graduated law school, I distinctly remember telling my family, I'm like, my goal is to run my own firm. I
Right.
eventually want to be my own boss. I think I told my friends this too. I'm like, I don't want to work for someone else my whole life. I want to have my own firm. Goal is about 5 years time from when I come out of law school. So when I was almost 2 years in, um, at that firm, it wasn't that I wasn't happy per se. It was more like I wanted more. And I felt like I've learned enough that I was comfortable taking the leap. And then, it, honestly, again, stars aligned. A law school buddy of mine who was in criminal defense, someone that she had worked with had left her criminal defense firm about maybe 2 years prior, and he had opened up his own real estate firm. And he was getting busy enough that he was looking for a partner. He didn't want an associate, he wanted a partner to A, help him with the business, and B, grow it. And he
Right.
wanted a partner that did something other than real estate so that he can kind of like have his hands in more pots, so to speak.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I had been telling her about how I wanted to, venture out on my own. And she's like, hey, why don't I hook you guys up and why don't you guys talk about it? And then that's how I met my current business partner, Chris Chu. And basically, somehow our personalities just work. He is like super bang, 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 let's go, very business driven. And I was also like, sparkly eyes, new lawyer that's like looking to have her own firm.
I get
And
it. Bird
yeah,
ready to fly. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. And we hit it off. I think within a month of meeting him, I put in my resignation and I'm like, I'm going out on my own.
yeah.
And
Dang.
yeah, and then now 2 years later from that, I'm officially a partner, and that's kind of
Have your
how
own
it came to
firm.
be. Yeah.
Right. Shoot.
And I wasn't even counting my timeline, and I realized I literally hit my goal. My goal of having my own firm in 5 years. I achieved it. I literally achieved it. This year is my 5th year being licensed, and I'm a partner. Didn't do it on purpose. Stars aligned. Like someone out there was listening. My life happened to fall into place, and I happened to hit the goal unintentionally.
You're agnostic. Stop talking so spiritually. Okay. Doesn't count.
Oh man. But yeah, so
Wow.
that's how it came to be.
And that was that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Who'd have thunk that this episode was just gonna be about you?
I know, I talk
Huh?
way too much.
That's fine. It's fine.
That's an interesting way to get to where you are, though. I feel
No,
like
absolutely.
I feel like a lot of lawyers wouldn't have necessarily taken the same career paths or choices, even starting from undergrad choices, right? So I know like lawyers, for example, they know they wanted to be lawyers, so they went into, for example, business or a specific like industry to study those industries and immediately move on from undergrad to law school, right? And I think you kind of fell into that, right? You always had interest, but that's not what you set yourself out to be, right? And then kind of like made decisions along the way, decided to not pursue school full time and work also part time on top of that. Decided to not participate in that week of
OCIs.
OCIs. So like I think lots of things it's different from a traditional I guess traditional path of a lawyer, right? And I think
Right.
we can just say that not everybody have to follow and walk the same path, right, to end up in whatever goal or situation that you want to be in.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
one script, right? Yeah. The way
Yeah.
that she approached things was pretty unconventional. And as much as she likes to say, Addie likes to say that, stars aligned, I think you can only bet so and pray so much about luck, where if you really make the efforts and you try to do things that and try to achieve the things that you want to do, then and eventually you'll get there.
Absolutely.
not to be such a, what do you call those people who you hire to, motivational speakers? Not to be
Motivational speakers. No, but
not to,
it's absolutely true. Like the stars is not just other stars coming to you, right? Like you are
fact.
also one of those variables that also have to, continue moving, continue like finding opportunities and making sure that you take those opportunities when they come along, right? So
Exactly. Moral of the story is that if you want to be a lawyer, study hospitality and tourism.
It's honestly, Stan hit it on the head. Like the whole reason why I pitched this episode's idea was, if anyone's going to take anything away from this episode, I hope you learn that as long as you are making choices for yourself that feel right, it can lead you to success no matter what kind of path you take. You don't have to follow someone's mold that is, oh, typically this is how you do things. Like, no, you don't have to do that. And I think that is the message I want to send out to our listeners.
True. Though
though,
the things that, not to say that you have to go out of the mold to be successful about it. It's just, it's just one way of doing it, right? The path, like, who's to say that if you did not have a part-time job and did your OCIs, and maybe you would still be a lawyer, right? Like you would have gotten your internship a lot sooner, or maybe you would have gotten to a firm that you liked and that you wouldn't have, like, who's to say, right? We're not saying exclusively to be different just for the sake of being different. I
Yeah.
think that's the wrong message to. I think that's a message that people tend to laser focus on. It's like, oh, look at this lady, right? And it becomes intoxicating, that idea of like, oh, I made it through my own way, and I got through this own I got to my position on my own volition, kind of thing, right? And
it's very romanticized. I think
exactly,
maybe,
right.
yeah, maybe not for the right reasons.
precisely
Yeah, John, you're
precisely
right.
Yeah, and it's still, we're not saying that don't do the things that will get you there, but we're also not saying that you should just do everything by the book. Basically, the point of this podcast is that do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just kidding. That's not the point of this podcast.
No. Like I think part of it is, right. Like it's looking at whatever opportunities in front of you and taking it, and not like focusing on like, oh, just because this is what everyone else is doing, even though the opportunity's there, I'm not gonna take it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No.
Yeah. So, and
I
I
agree.
think that's very much what Addie did, right? Like she was originally a flight attendant. She was weighing her options. Like every step of the way, she's talking to confidants and advisors in her life to help her make the right decisions, right? And I think everyone out there, I think being a person, the greatest thing you can do is make a choice, and I think to have these choices be very intentional will kind of bring you forward in life, right? In whatever direction that is. And I guess not to be too focused on one thing.
No, totally. Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Next episode, we'll get Stan's perspective, how he got where he is, and see where things go from there. Maybe he's more of a textbook guy, huh? Maybe he was just like, hey, I'm gonna go to kindergarten and go to grade school and then go to high school and then go to college
Grade
or
school to high
university.
school. Oh, very good.
Right. And then go to finish my degree and then get a job. Maybe that's how it works. Who knows? You're gonna have to stay tuned on our next episode. That will be episode 1.5, and
Okay.
then we'll see you guys there. Any closing thoughts for everybody with us today, Addie?
Yeah, I actually want to circle back to the beer. It has made me extremely burpy, so I think the comment on the hops is super accurate. I keep having to mute my mic because I don't want to burp right into it.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. No, I've been holding my peace since like minute 20 of this conversation. That's just it's probably unhealthy, but here we are. Stan, any
And here
closing
we are.
parting thoughts, Stanley?
Um, Yeah, on the beer, I liked it. I haven't finished it, so I know the last episode that we did, I finished my beer even before the end of our, I think, hour. I'm about halfway through. Not to say I don't like it, but I don't think this is something I can down very quickly, just because of, I think, the very intense hoppy flavor, which I personally am still trying to get accustomed to. So
Well, I'm one thirsty boy, and I finished it basically 20 minutes into our conversation. I'm actually just drinking water now, which is sad because Beer Talks is not called Beer Talks because we drink water. In any case, drop us a line, hit us up. Adelaide, the CLS, comment, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell.
where can they find us, Jonathan?
Where can they find us, Adelaide?
So on Instagram, our Instagram handle is at Beer Talks TO. So that's BEERTALKSTO. Yeah, feel free to like us, subscribe, follow us, comment on our posts, keep an eye out for what the next beer is going to be, and maybe you can grab it. And when you listen to us, also take a sip and listen to our notes as we do the podcast.
DM us as well, yeah, for suggestions.
Oh, yes.
And we'll be more than happy to look it up. Next week, we'll probably settle with like a Canadian, just so we'll bring it home, where Stanley lives, right in Canada. So,
In Canada, the heart of Canada.
The heart and the true Canada. And
Toronto.
right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, everybody, Addie, Stan, for taking the time over here. We hope to hear from you guys soon. And till then,
Peace.
cheers.
Cheers.